everyone. Today we've got Lorena with us and she's going to give us some positioning tips and tricks. So I'll give the floor to Lorena.
Hi, so first we're just going to start with looking at a baby in supine in a nest and some of the things that we want to look for in a nest, especially for our babies that are not yet close to term, is we want to look for a high enough foot brace for the baby to really have some nice foot bracing, which can help with autonomic regulation. We want to avoid the situation where babies are sitting on it as if it was a throne, but really trying to have their enough height so that they can really brace and push their feet against it, kind of like the boundaries of the womb. The other things that we want to have is we want to have enough support coming in from behind the shoulders to protract those shoulders a little bit and help bring, now this doll doesn't really bring hands to midline in the same way, but we really want to have enough support through those shoulders that it's easy for babe to bring hands to midline and also to face or mouth with elbow flexion as well as the shoulder protraction. One of the other things that is helpful, and especially for the babies that do tend to look for their boundaries and you find them moving themselves around the isolette or bassinet, having a head point of contact or support that could be one of the little frogs. It could be another rolled blanket, but something that just gives that boundary for the baby at both the feet and at the head. So that kind of covers the sort of main points for supine. With the feet, I will mention that ideally we do want to try to see those feet being braced and depending on how well the baby can position themselves, we want to try to just support them to be in that braced position. They will move and that's just fine, but to have it available so that they can brace there. Okay, so when we're talking about doing prone positioning, one of the things is we do want a surfboard to give some extra support and create a bit of space for the baby to be in flexion when in prone. And with that surfboard, what we want is we want it to be about the width of the baby's nipples. So inside of the baby's nipple width, and that can help create that shoulder protraction and that flexion. This is maybe slightly wide unless I have it nicely squished, but just imagine nipple width apart. So with a long one, with a long surfboard, then we're going to try to make sure that baby has their legs on either side of the surfboard so that we're encouraging that flexion through the lower body as well. And we're going to try to bring those arms and make sure that they're kind of propped and in flexion near the head. And this doll doesn't move quite in the same way as the babies that we work with, but ideally we want to kind of get in that position where there's a bit of head support, head is to the side, and we've got those shoulders really nicely flexed and curled forward. We've got some nice flexion through the lower spine, and we've got those arms kind of providing some support to either side of that surfboard. I think that those are the key points, other than that with this one as well, we want to be able to have that bit of support for the head. And in this situation, the froggy might not be the best option, and having a nice, like a little bit of a higher roll might be a better option. So if we did use the froggy, then what I would probably do is double up the legs just to provide a little bit of a higher support to give that little bit of contact and boundary for the head, as well as the feet being able to brace against that nice high roll at the bottom of the nest. With sideline positioning, things that we want to look for, it is nice if we have head and body all in a neutral kind of midline posture, using just a little soft roll to give something to hug and something to tuck between the legs, so that we can also encourage good alignment and that nice flexion. Giving a little bit of a snug up to the side of the nest so that we've got that boundary behind the back, making sure again we've got that nice high roll so that the feet can brace against the bottom of the nest, and then using something to give that bit of a boundary for the head as well. And Vanessa has a really nice trick that
a little fun fact trick. You can take one of our wipes, and if you just fold it in three, stretch it right out, and then this actually acts as a little brace for your baby, and it can bring your nest right in and nice and snug. You can also do one over the shoulder if you want. I really like this option for babies who are under phototherapy. They can still have that containment with skin exposure, or under respiratory support. You can also contain them using the wipe that way. Thanks guys, that is it for positioning at this point. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or Lorena.
Absolutely.